Rock and roll! Welcome to the fifth episode of A Thousand Comics Podcast. If you've been listening so far, I'd like to thank you so very much. And keep listening because I got great comedians that are going to be on this program. I'd like to talk about a couple things before we get started on A Thousand Comics Podcast tonight. Tonight, I went through something that comedians will go through, and I went out of my way to put somebody on a list to perform, and then that person, I won't name any names, that person went to go make a fool out of himself by getting angry that he didn't get to perform right away. I think that as someone who's been doing this for a long time, people got to pay their dues, man. People got to be okay with being the last performer at an open mic. Even if there's only 3 people left to watch, you gotta stick it out. You can't expect to perform early in the night if you've never had to hang in the gallows the entire night, and sometimes you get the shit ending of the sticking comedy, and that's just how it is. Even the best performers in the world will be able to perform for 1 or 2 people, and you got to stick it out the whole night, especially when you're just starting in comedy. That's how you know that you're good, by going up at the end. And you know what? The true comics are going to hang out until the end anyways. If you're performing at the end of the show, you know who's there at the end of the night, just watching you perform for nobody, and that shows. Don't get out all bent out of shape if you're going on last. That's first of all, it's unprofessional, and second, just nobody likes that. Just hang out. All right, let's move on to another topic, which is my guest tonight, which is Adam Kaye. Great guest. And I think I hope Adam Kaye is not annoyed with this, because he knew he was the first person to be recorded actually for the Thousand Comics Podcast, and the fact that he wasn't the first episode is through no fault of Adam Kaye. Great comic performer and a great drummer too. I just saw him drumming the other day, and he's quite the musician as well. I didn't put you on first, Adam, because I didn't think my interview skills were up to par. I think I needed to practice my interview skills a little bit more before I put the first recording out into the world, because I get nervous. I even get a little bit nervous on the mic. Maybe I don't even want to admit that. Maybe I want to delete this take right now, just because I admitted that I get nervous on the microphone, which you shouldn't if you are a good performer. Okay. I would just like to say now that the 1000 Comics Podcast is looking for sponsors. We don't have any sponsors yet. Love to get some. If you'd like to be a sponsor, you could email matthewheath.saga@gmail.com. That's Matthew Heath, _SAGA @gmail.com. Until I get some sponsors, we get some sponsors on the program, I'll pretty much be sponsoring myself. You could listen to my comedy album, Matt Heath Class Clown Revisited, right here on this YouTube page. Or you could go to Amazon.com and buy my play. I wrote a great play. It's on Amazon.com. You go to the search bar, type in Matt Heath, and the play, Renaissance Men, will pop right up. You could read it for your reading pleasure. Okay. I think that pretty much wraps it up for the monologue, the comedy. Here's my interview with Adam Kaye. Hello, and welcome to 1,000 Comics Podcast. This is your host, Matt Heath. I'm sitting here with Adam Kaye.
What's going on, bud?
Nothing much. Thanks for bringing a Red Bull over for me.
Sure.
I was taking a long nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing like diabetes in a can, you know?
Diabetes in a can. So Adam Kaye is one of South Florida's great comics. He runs a show at the Station. Where's the station again?
It's downtown West Palm Beach.
Downtown West Palm Beach, he runs a show. When's the next show?
Next one is going to be June 22nd, Friday. $10, all you can drink.
Great. What's the date on that? Just so...
June 22nd,
June
2018.
22nd. Great. Awesome.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, man.
So... I'm glad you're here. You're one of the first to record the 1,000 Comics podcast. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be here. You know, I've only just known you long enough to see you drunk and disorderly in the bar, swiping left and right, mostly left.
You've seen me at my worst.
I have. The first night I met you, actually, and but hey,
what was I doing the first night you met me?
What weren't you doing? That's the question. Well, first night I met you.
Because I do not remember the first night.
I know you don't. I know you don't. But that's beside the point. It was pretty fun because I was telling a joke about superstitions in hockey, and my buddy basically used to get on goal streaks, and his big thing was fucking fat chicks. And you told me you were wasted, and you were like, man, that thing about the hockey? Oh, man, that's fucking great. And we hit it off since then, because you're the only one that likes that joke. So
why don't you tell the joke on air to the people, or is it just a stage joke?
No, let's give it
a shot.
Tell the
joke on the podcast.
It's a bit of a story here. Yeah, so my freshman year at college, played hockey, and one night me teammates and I would get really wasted at the bar, and my best buddy Rick decides he's going to take home probably the fattest girl I'd ever seen. We had a game the next night, so I didn't think he was going to play. But, guy scored like 7 goals in the game, and we just destroyed the other team. And the first thought in Rick's head was, I got to keep this fucking streak alive. You know what I'm saying? 12 fat chicks in probably 3-4 weeks. And, the streak was alive, and then finally it ended, and Rick was like, fuck, man. Fuck. What am I going to do? And, he did what any sensible gentleman would do. He doubled down. 2 fat chicks at one time. Broke his back, never played hockey again. And I guess what I'm saying is, don't be shallow. Okay, big girls need love too. And number 2, always lift with your knees. So, that's the gist of it.
It is a classic joke, and I didn't let it because I've heard the joke several times already.
Yeah.
I hope you out there in podcast land enjoyed one of Adam Kaye's classic jokes.
Yeah.
So how did you get started doing comedy?
I've always been a fan, and I always looked up to people like Dave Chappelle and Louis C.K. Good storytellers, really.
How long have you been doing stand-up?
About 2 years. And it's been a great ride, man. Ups and downs, lefts and rights. I don't know. I fucking love comedy, man. I've always loved comedy.
Tell me about your first time on stage. You remember?
Yep, first time on stage. Went really well, actually, which is kind of it was a kiss of death because I was like, holy shit. I was at Palm Beach Improv, and everybody killed it. Everybody was having a good time, laughing, and I was riding high, and then I did the same set the next night, and some guy wanted to stab me in the crowd. It was fucked up.
So your first time on stage was at the Improv.
It was.
Do you remember some of the other comics that were there?
Sure, man. He's a good buddy of mine now, much like you are, but Randy Vega.
Randy Vega was there.
Love that guy, the Ginger Rican.
Yeah, he's great. He's going to be on the podcast hopefully next week.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's an awesome guy. And Jackie Sanchez, Terry Wayne, just a lot of good comics from West Palm area and South Florida. It was good to meet them, and they were cool, man. They were cool to me. Yep.
Adam brought over some Heinekens, some Heinies.
Well, they were out of heroin.
They were out of heroin at the. Where'd you pick up the Heinekens?
I can't pronounce it. It's Spanish. Let's just say it's next to Lupita's.
It's Bodegon. Did you pick them up?
It was
Lupita's. So
it was by Lupita's, the Mexican
Publix
restaurant. Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't go to Publix. I mean, that's the whitest thing you can do. I just
you wanted to show some love. Well, we're here in my kitchen in Lake Worth, so there's a lot of Spanish influence restaurants and stores.
Yeah, man. So, I wanted to stop and get liquor, but yeah, I've been on a liquor binge for 2-3 weeks now, so I figured just tone it down with some beer.
You certainly drink whiskey more so than other comics.
Do I?
That I've noticed. Right? Yes, I don't drink whiskey anymore for reasons. I do bad things when I drink whiskey.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's got the adverse effect. I get pretty chill. I don't get headaches from whiskey, which a lot of people say, oh, how do you do that? I get hungover. And no, I don't, It's like a miracle.
Tell me, who are your biggest influences in comedy?
Biggest influences? Well, to be honest with you, number one is got to be Robin Williams. I love George Carlin.
Why do you put Robin Williams at number one?
Because Robin Williams could do pretty much anything. And he basically, there was no subject he couldn't touch on.
He did. He kind of got across all boards there. Do you listen to his early comedy albums?
Yeah, I do. It's for me, it's I just started a pretty decent record collection, and I've been kind of just going across the board, searching all sorts of places for comedy albums that kind of just got lost in translation there. So,
what other comedy albums?
What other ones?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think here. I just picked up a Monty Python album, which is actually pretty shocking. It's got some of their early stuff before some of the movies came out, and 2 or 3 Carlin albums that I found in somebody's just like this old ass case covered in spider webs, which I felt was a gem.
Same ones that I got on the wall there. I got On the Road in my kitchen, hanging on my kitchen wall, folks at home, because you can't see. I have On the Road, Toledo, and on the other side you can't see it. We can't see it from where we're sitting, but I have Class Clown up there. Yeah,
I do have Class Clown, and I have what is this called? Some of My Things, or I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head, but I drank too much alcohol. Sorry, man.
Did you drink too much alcohol today?
No, I just got out of Just got out of rehab, so I'm just putting it right to your lips.
Rehab? You were in rehab?
No, I wasn't in rehab.
Yeah, it was a joke.
It was a joke.
Okay. Have you ever been in rehab?
No, I've just been drinking since I was 17. I'm just not a quitter, you know?
You love the drink.
It's something that you do to pass time in life.
Tell me about your early high school experiences drinking. That's what I would like to hear about Adam Kaye's early high school. What were some of the hijinks that you got into back then?
Sure. Well, when I was 16 and 17, I worked in a really rich person's restaurant in Wellington, Florida, and I was a barback. And what I used to do when I'd work on a Friday night, they had this massive liquor room, and I would literally, like, just inside the door of the liquor room, they had the laundry basket, right? So what I would do is I'd just take a couple bottles, throw her in the laundry, fucking cover it up with all the fucking tables I've been cleaning up, and just take the trash out. Put that trash bag in a specific spot, and then I'd be the coolest guy at the party. Just bring liquor, stolen liquor. Isn't that great?
You stole liquor from the restaurant that you worked at.
I sure did.
That you were bar backing.
Yeah.
These people were nice enough to give you a job.
They were rich. They didn't miss
a young Adam Kaye.
Yeah.
The bar back is a position. I've known people that are bar backs for years. Some of them never move up. They never move up to the bartending position.
Well, here's what I did.
Because they don't have the bartending positions. They stay bar back.
It's true, and I did. I was a bar back until I decided to go to college, and then I left.
So how many years were you a bar back?
I was a bar back for 3 years, and then going into college, that's when I started valeting cars. And so I valeted cars for about 4 years, and I also played music in a band.
What was the name of your band?
The band, it was called No Need.
No Need? What kind of music was No Need?
It was like a reggae ska band with like saxophone and horns and shit. It was cool.
You must have gotten into some trouble with those guys, right?
Yeah, dude.
Give us some stories of you and your band. No Need.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, this one night I'm singing. We're covering some Sublime songs, at this local bar called Tia's. Every Friday night we play there, and I'm singing the song, and after the song, my saxophone player comes up to me. And he's like, "Hey, man, I don't know if you noticed, but that chick over there, yeah, that one, she's been eye-fucking you all night." He's like, "You got to go up and say something to her." I'm like, "Oh, shit, okay, all right." So I go up to the girl, and she's like, "Hey." And I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she goes, "It's going good." And I'm like, cool. Do you have any requests? I see you dancing over here, And she's like, "Yeah, can you play Bad Fish by Sublime?" And I was thinking to myself, sure I can. Yeah, absolutely. Even though we had just played it and this girl was so wasted that she didn't even fucking know that we had just played it.
Maybe she was mistaken. She thought you had played another song by Sublime, and then so she's like, they could play Sublime. Maybe they play another song by Sublime.
Yeah, but she was so hot that I made my band just play it again.
So you played it again?
Sure.
Then what happened?
Then I took her home that night, and we were, getting down or whatever. And then at about 4 a.m, she wakes up and she goes, "Hey, where's your bathroom?" And it's literally like 2 feet to the left. So I point 2 feet to the left. I'm like, "It's right there." This girl proceeds to get up, walk the opposite way, and drop panties and piss on my carpet in front of my closet.
Sounds like a classy woman.
So classy, in fact, that the next couple of weeks I kept boning her and found out she was a major cokehead. And then I found out she was Miss March 2010. And that's where I peaked and quit music, because I was like, I'm never going to top doing Miss March 2010. Look it up, podcasters. Look her up.
Miss March 2010.
Yeah.
Miss March, 2010.
I won't say names. I'll leave it up to them.
We'll have to look it up.
It's a little treasure trove.
She's not gonna. Well, if you don't say her name, I guess she can't get embarrassed. But
that's
you think somebody who's listening to this podcast be like, "Hey, Miss March, I heard you."
She ain't gonna remember pissing on my rug.
Will she remember you? Does she remember you?
Probably, if I ran into her.
Oh, okay.
But
so that's it. Your music career kind of ended there.
I mean, not really.
What happened after that?
It happened after that, yeah. So no, I mean, I played music for a long time. I was up in Tampa. Like I went to USF. That's where I graduated from. And yeah.
So USF was it a big party school?
They call it Bulls Country because there's 40,000 commuting students, and yes, it was a big party school. There was a lot of parties going on all the time. People don't realize that. They're like, oh.
Keggers.
Yeah, I mean keggers, but people threw keggers, but I was always drinking liquor pretty much. So.
I always was a big fan of the kegger in college. You wanted to go to a kegger,
Fuck. I loved keggers, I had let me see here. The freshman year of college when I got my first hat trick in a hockey game. Right. That night we threw a massive kegger and the entire University of Tampa girls swim team came. And they were fucking literally wearing bathing suits underneath that, and they were doing like keg stands. Picture like Olympic swimming chicks
doing keg stands
with their fucking swim caps on, doing keg stands. How cool, man! How cool.
That sounds like a beautiful thing.
Mm. It was pretty cool. I got carried out at that party because I was a rookie, and they just keep fucking feeding you booze like all night. It was better than a frat, because frats, you pay for friends. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I never joined a fraternity when I was in college. I kind of wish I had, because there was a point where I did get kicked out of housing in college, and if I had only if I had joined a fraternity, I would have had it. Fraternity would have taken care of me.
Yeah, you think that, but it's it's hit or miss. I think. I mean, I've seen bar fights break out where fraternity brothers just don't. Some of them are all about it, having your back or something, and some of them are dipping out because they don't want to get in trouble or whatever. So, hockey players, they don't fucking. If you're on a team, it's a little different. It's a real, live by the sword, die by the sword thing for your brother. You know what I mean? It's a little different, but that's a little serious. That's a little too serious. Plus, fucking fat chicks and stuff. So,
tell me more about hockey. What is? I know that hockey is a huge part of your life.
Yeah, man. Well, I grew up in Massapequa, Long Island, New York, and my dad was just a massive Islanders fan. So, I have one older brother who played goalie. And, we moved down to Florida probably when I was like 6 years old, but we still, believe it or not, pursued just having hockey. Like it was actually a thing. Moved down to West Palm Beach and they were playing like roller hockey out in the street and shit. And then I started playing ice when I was like 10. And, yeah, dude, hockey is a huge part of my life. Pretty fun.
What's your team?
Florida Panthers, bro.
Florida Panthers.
Yep.
You go to games?
Yeah, when I can afford to go to games. I mean, it's, like last year when we had, they had Yager. I don't know if you know who Yager is. Dude, a 40-something-year-old dude with long hair. He's a legend. But they got him on the team, and that year I decided, okay, I'll go to a bunch of games, So, but I grew up watching the Panthers, man. And I'm a Dolphins fan. I live in Florida. I choose Florida teams. That's just
Florida team. I only moved to Florida 2 years ago, so I'm.
Who's your team?
I'm New York all the way. New York
Rangers?
Yankees. New York. I don't watch hockey though. I'm not a hockey fan.
He's a Yankee fan.
Giants, Yankees, all that jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, sports are cool.
So. college. What was your major in college?
I studied copywriting and art direction in advertising. So I was always writing copy for campaigns and all kinds of shit.
How did you decide on copywriting?
I love writing. It kind of came natural. It was always my best subject. And, I thought about doing sports like mass comm, sportscasting, but...
All right, I'm going to interrupt you there.
Sure.
So speaking of writing,
yeah,
there was a comedy skit that we had started writing together,
sure.
and I finished writing it.
Oh, you did?
And I thought we could read lines on the podcast together. What do you think?
We could do that.
The sketch is called The Blind Date. We don't have a woman here. You could read for the waiter. I'll read for the man. And you read for the waiter. I'll read for the man on the date, and I'll also read for the woman. I'll change my voice a little bit.
Okay.
So this is the blind date. The man comes in to a nice restaurant, sits down. The waiter approaches.
Good evening, sir. Can I get you anything?
Yeah, a rich woman to pay for this eye surgery so I can see again.
Holy Lord. How about a water?
Make it a sparkling water. Rich women love sparkling water.
I'm sorry, sir. We don't serve sparkling water here.
For God's sake! I'm trying to impress this woman.
I'll do my best, sir. I'll do what I can.
The woman approaches. Hi, I'm looking for someone. I'm supposed to be on a blind date tonight. Well, look no further. I certainly can't. Oh, you must be him. You're damn right I am. Take a seat. Wow, you're a little aggressive, but I've always liked that in a man. Well, let me ask you something. Have you ever paid for any major surgeries? Eye surgeries, perhaps? Well, no. No, I haven't. The waiter approaches.
Your sparkling water, sir. Ma'am?
It's about goddamn time you showed up. How dare you keep this woman waiting?
Oh, my deepest apologies, sir. I'll be right back with some hors d'oeuvres for you.
It says aperitif, but you can go ahead and improvise. We don't have to stick right to the script. Well, make it snappy this time. The waiter exits. Wow, you're so forceful and powerful. It appears that you're attracted to me. May I feel your face and chest to see if I feel the same about you? Go right ahead.
Who is this lady?
The man touches the woman's face and chest for an extended amount of time. Why, thank you. Oh, no. Holy Lord, you are one tasty babe. Why, thank you. If only I could see you. The man shudders away in sadness. What's the matter? I need $50,000 for major surgery. Eye surgery. You wouldn't happen to have $50,000, would you? No, I don't. God damn it! We could have sex, though. What good is a vagina if you can't even see it? I also do anal. Where the hell is that goddamn waiter with the check? Now, we wrote the first maybe few lines of that together. What did you think? Did you like it the way it panned out?
Especially how the lady is just so into this guy. It's like remarkable.
But I don't even think she even realized that he's blind throughout like the whole beginning. She doesn't realize he's blind to the very end.
Well,
she just likes his aggressive. He likes the alpha male attitude.
Sure, take charge.
A lot of women like that.
Yeah, just ask Bill Cosby.
Hey, man.
Yeah. No, it was good. It's not bad. Although I feel like the blind guy was laughing a lot the whole time.
It's a rough. It was a rough read. It was not. That's not the actual skit. I don't think.
No, it's gonna be good. I like it.
You think we should do it with puppets or what?
We could. Although I heard that Dirty Puppet movie that's coming out, it was getting sued by the Muppets or whatever, Jim Henson Studios.
Yeah.
You know the one that's...
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it, but and it doesn't surprise me that Jim Henson Studios...
It looks hilarious, though.
Because they look a lot like Jim Henson puppets.
Yeah, they didn't really change up the formula there, but it looks funny as shit.
So we're going to N2 Wine Bar. Are you going to N2 Wine Bar tonight?
I don't know.
No?
Maybe.
There's a comedy open mic going on at N2 Wine Bar. I think I'm gonna go.
That's cool, man.
Let's keep this podcast rolling. What else? How about I get into the deeper questions a little bit with you here?
Sure.
Do you believe in God?
I don't know. Is that good? No.
You don't know? What do you
know?
What do you mean? Would you classify yourself as agnostic?
I don't know. I believe in karma.
Karma?
Sure. I think if you're a big enough dickhead, it'll come back to you. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, I was raised in Judaism, and the food's great, and the whole thing with that is togetherness and partying. But do I believe in God? It'd be cool. It'd be cool. Sure, man. It'd be cool.
So you're Jewish.
I was raised Jewish. Yeah.
You were raised. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, man. When I was 13 years old, I had to quit playing hockey and was forced to study Hebrew and learn how to chant and read the Torah, and then I got made into a fucking man, bro. It was great. And then after that, I pretty much never went to temple again. So.
Did you have a bris or is it a normal circumcision? Or are you uncircumcised?
That's personal. Yes, I'm circumcised, and I love it. It's a very clean look.
But it was a bris, though, right?
Yeah, dude, that's what happens.
So a moil?
I would rather have it then.
It was done by a moil, right?
It's done by a moil.
Have you ever been witnessed a bris? Because I haven't.
I have not witnessed one. My nephew had one, but I looked away.
But so you were there.
I was there in the room.
So it's like it always just amused me the way Jewish people do that. They have a party.
Sure.
It's like a party, right?
We always party. We party for everything. Cutting dick tips off. We celebrate pretty much anything we can party with.
I don't think I've ever been to a bris. Can you lay out for me exactly what from the beginning to end of a bris?
Sure.
Walk me through a day.
Sure.
Where you go to a bris.
Well, first your mom makes just some bomb ass food.
Right.
Yeah, and then her friend makes bomb ass food, and it's like
so all the women make great food.
Yeah, like you'd want to go to a bris
to celebrate the cutting of a wiener.
Well, it's cutting of the foreskin.
Yes.
And there's nothing that makes you more hungry than thinking about that, right? So Let me take you through it. It's kind of like this. I'll be the rabbi or whatever in this situation, or the moil. Usually there's a rabbi and a moil.
Wait, there's two. I thought the moil shows up. That shows up with the rabbi.
It just depends. I think, if I remember correctly, there was.
Can you be both? Can a rabbi be a moil and vice versa? Can a moil be a rabbi?
Oh God, that's a good question. I don't know. I've never been to dick chopping Hebrew school before.
Well, because I know the term moil. At least I'm educated enough to at least even know what a moil does. But that was something that I always like. That's your job. That's what you do every day. You go out and cut wieners every day.
I think that's what
that's
they
your thing.
aspire. That's your thing, and you must go to a. I have to assume that there's some sort of medical certification card. You know what I mean? Just something to say, hey, I'm about to cut your kid's wiener, but I got credentials. You know what I mean?
Do you think how if somebody was gonna get like brain surgery, like I want to get the best brain surgeon in the entire world? Are Jewish people the same way about moils?
No, I don't think so.
They're looking for the best moil.
It's funny that you asked that, but it's not them getting their dick chopped. It's just their kid who's a baby.
But still, it's your son. Like, say you're the father, right? You have a kid, right?
Yeah.
Is your kid gonna have a breast? Do you think you're gonna raise him religiously?
I don't know. I don't even want to. I can't even think about having a kid.
Okay, so let's just say hypothetically,
if I had a kid,
you're having a breast. Do you look for the best moil, or you just look for the first, like you go for the first moil in the phone book, or
it's under
M.
Do
you read the Yelp reviews? Do they have Yelp reviews on moils now?
God, I hope so. Can you imagine?
This moil lopped off my kid's whole dick.
Now my kid's acting funny. Little fucker doesn't even read.
He's practically a vagina.
He's like, what's the point of reading? I got a fucking half a dick. Yeah.
So the women make good food.
The women make great food.
You got the moil. You got the rabbi.
Mm-hmm. So the rabbi's just like
dress nice. What do you?
Yeah,
you
it's
wear
just
a suit?
it just depends, I guess, on the family, right? I think it's pretty.
So your cousin's breast. So you usually wear a suit.
I wore business casual. I didn't wear a jacket or anything or a tie. I mean, he's just chopping his dick. It's not like.
So you wore khakis.
I wore a shirt that was, it was a shirt I didn't care about in case there was any blood splatter. I'm just kidding.
Is that something you actually worry about?
No, dude. It's like a very quick thing. The rabbi's like, bless this child. And the moil's like.
And everyone looks away?
Jesus, that's a lot of cuts. Jesus. I hope it's not that many cuts for my kid. No, I don't know. I mean, I didn't. There's the parents and like the grandparents crowd around. Okay. It's almost like a football huddle, and they're like, Z90 right hook, cut this kid's dick, and then break, and then you break for food and wine, and everybody celebrates, takes pictures, and the kid cries. Kid cries a lot. And
babies always cry though.
Exactly. That's the logic behind it. Well, he was gonna cry anyways. I'm glad we got his dick chopped.
They take pictures. You take pictures, not of the dick, of the actual.
We hired a world-class photographer, a dick photographer, and
that might be the new 2018 thing, though. You never know. That might be.
I got news for you, bro. There's people out there doing circumcisions on their kids that are not Jewish anymore. Like it hasn't even. It's like crossed over because it's like the new age thing to do.
Well, yeah, most Christian people are circumcised, but it gets done by doctors.
They get it done by doctors when they're like 42.
Did you just assume that anyone that wasn't Jewish had a different looking dick than you?
No, some Christian guy.
The majority of people are circumcised.
I know that. I'm not assuming anything. I just know, you're acting like, what is the story with this? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like 70% of people.
I just thought, maybe that you thought that circumcised meant Jewish.
No.
Like, and if you watch porn, you clearly would know. Like, I've never seen so many Jewish dicks in all my life.
What's porn? Oh man.
Because if circumcision meant that you were Jewish, everyone would be Jewish, or most people would.
I don't think that. I think that it's pretty clear that most porn stars are Jewish. No, I'm kidding. Especially the black ones.
But what about, all right, so the parents, the grandparents are huddled around, the kid cries,
Yeah.
and then you eat, and what is it, all done by 4 o'clock, and then...
Yeah, I don't know. You pretty much eat the whole time.
Is there time to go, like, out to a bar afterward? Is it like Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
or,
yeah. It's not like it doesn't go from like 11 to 2 a.m. Like, this is the best bris ever. Rage. No, it's just a little fucking family get together. Yeah, dude. I mean, my nephew seems pretty normal. Poor little guy.
Do you think that there's any people out there that remember their own bris?
I can't even remember high school, so. Not me. What about you, man? I mean, what's your religious ties?
Oh, I'm Catholic.
So you believe that you're going to hell?
Well, I'm 90% sure. I believe in God. I believe that there's something up there. But then again,
there's a lot of cool stuff out here.
Also, I as the out there in podcast land, if you haven't seen me do my act at the Funky Buddha Lounge, which is about to not be the Funky Buddha Lounge.
Really?
It's about to be changed to Robot Brewing Company.
Huh.
But I've always thought of stand-up comedy as my religion. Even before I started doing it, I always thought, like, what if that's how you kind of could come to some kind of religious transcendence, is through telling jokes or talking to people, true honesty through a microphone and into a crowd of people. Can you find transcendence that way? Can that be like your church in a sense?
I think so, man. I think for me, over time, music has been that for me, and I think comedy is something. I've only been at it honestly for 2 years, but there's no feeling like comedy. There really isn't. Even the things that don't always work for you, there's this just sense of creation. It's the creation. I think that's what brings people, like for musicians, when you write something that really, it speaks to people, they come up to you and they say, wow, like, that's a great song. Like, that sounded good, man. Like, I really appreciate it. It made me think, it brings an influx of memories for people. And with comedy, if you do it, you do it right, it's extremely relatable. And people give you feedback. And I think that it's the drive. Like, you got your thumb on the pulse of society with comedy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I suppose it does. But as a comedian, I feel like you spend a lot of time in your own head going over your own jokes. Mm-hmm. It's very something that's, you have to be true to yourself. You have to have a good sense of self to do comedy.
It's cathartic, yeah.
And it, but it's not the same for every person. Like, I would say, like, if you look at, like, famous comedians, like Adam Sandler, he goes to places. If you would see him at a bar or a club, he would have a whole posse of people with him.
Right.
Whereas opposed to a guy like Chris Rock, I don't think he takes anybody anywhere. He's always just on his own.
I feel like you know what?
Yeah, sure. We are opening up Heineken beers here, people, in the apartment, and in my kitchen. That's where we record the podcast. We're getting into some deep conversation now, so I hope you're all still listening at home.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Rock is, you could tell that he never needed anybody with the way that he does his stuff. He has a lot of friends. I'm sure he does. I know he hangs out with.
Oh, definitely. I think him. Well, maybe not Louis C.K. now after all the things that happened.
They still hang out with him.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure he does have friends. But when I'm not saying that comedians that are in their own head don't have friends. I'm saying that they work alone to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You know, you have to find a place. You have to find a place in what's the word I'm looking for? Meditation. You have to meditate to be truly good at comedy, and you have to be alone to meditate.
Yeah, you're saying you have to find that peace in order to reach that little sense of nirvana where that's like your sweet spot for writing and creativity.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That makes sense for sure. I mean, I like to surround myself in with certain people that I know. When I go and I hang out with them or I drink, just specific friends. It's not about alcohol, but when you're out and about with some of your good friends and you know that some situational shit's gonna happen, and it kind of is a little bit of a spark sometimes for me,
right?
Personally, and then it'll just hit me like a ton of bricks. Write down an idea and I don't force it, right? If you force it, nobody should sit down and say, all right, I gotta write 2 jokes right now. Like, who does that? Nobody that's good. It's got to be. I feel like it's got the more natural it comes, the better. Obviously,
it is hard. When people ask me, like, when do I find time to write? It's weird because it's like it's a writing kind of has to come to you. It's gotta hit you.
Yeah.
It's not like you could be like, I'm just gonna go and write.
Right.
But then again, there are people that do that. If you have you have to have like a strict just a strict regimen of throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna spend this time at my desk writing.
Yeah.
This amount of time, and I think that's how Stephen King writes. And he's obviously not a comedian, but
right.
he's one of the most prolific writers of all time, and he is very funny.
He's a very funny person.
But I think, he has a set schedule of when he sits down at his desk and just writes.
Yeah.
And I think it also helps to live in a place where there's not a lot of people, like New Hampshire.
Oh yeah, his place it's so creepy. Like his room that he writes in. I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
And the room
Stephen King has an Instagram?
Yeah, bro. He talks shit about Donald Trump like every day. It's great.
Well, there you have it, podcasters. Stephen King has an Instagram. If you haven't checked it out yet, please check out Stephen King's Instagram.
He's on social media, man. He mostly posts pictures of his dog, and he has like I can't remember the nickname, but his dog is like named some sort of evil name, and it's pretty cool.
But do you think it also helps being a writer to have an unattractive wife? If your wife is unattractive, you're like, oh, I can.
You mean it's less of a distraction?
Yeah, you're less distracted by your wife, so you just go to that room and write. Like, leave me alone. Yeah. I'm gonna go write.
Well, that's a good point, I guess. I mean, it just I think the key is to not get married. To be honest with you, because. Everybody in podcast world, how do you feel about that? Yeah, no, it's
the key is not to. I think I'm gonna get married someday.
Marriage is, don't get me wrong. Marriage is a good thing for a lot of people, But
I'm looking out there in podcast land. I'm looking for a wife.
if anyone can hear Mr. Matt Heath
is looking for an attractive wife. I don't want a wife like Stephen King.
Here, I know this website we can
Something
pull
that's
up.
going to distract me.
It's
from my writing.
http://www.russianhordes.com _wife.
There you have it, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I dated a Russian woman for a little while.
Did you?
I did.
Nice.
Have you ever dated a Russian woman?
I can't say that I have. I was definitely chatting one up through a mutual Russian friend that I had. I met him on a cruise ship, and she saw one photo with one of my high school friends, this girl. She's just a friend, and she was just like, "Oh, we will never be together." And that's not even a good Russian accent. That's terrible. So then I was like, fuck it, man. I'm not going to Russia for you.
Well, it was actually when I first moved down here to Florida, man. I had quit drinking for about 3 months before I had moved to Florida. And the first drink I had was at Duffy's over in Delray. And I go in there, I sit down, have a drink, and I immediately start talking to this beautiful Russian woman.
What'd you say to her? What was the first thing you said?
This is the first drink I've had in 3 months. I don't remember what the first thing I said to her was. But we started seeing each other for a little while.
Yeah.
And I remember at one point she wanted to meet me we were going to go to the beach, but we were meeting in like a CVS parking lot. And I was like... She was like, I am looking for you in the parking lot. You were on the phone. I'm looking for you in the parking lot. And I go, are you sure you're not looking for moose and squirrel? And she goes, why you want me to say that I am looking for moose and squirrel?
Right, because she had never seen Bullwinkle.
She had never seen Rocky and Bullwinkle.
So you just kept that going throughout the whole relationship because that was your favorite thing.
Just her saying moose and squirrel. It was like that's
orgasmic.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best. But I think that my favorite thing that she said to me one time, I was acting goofy, like I normally do. We were about to walk into an Italian restaurant, and she goes, when I am in street with you, when I am in street or in restaurant, I do not want hippie. And I go, what? She goes, I do not want hippie. I want classic man like Al Pacino.
Oh.
And I was like, all right. And then she goes, but in bedroom, I want hippie.
Is that because hippies are awesome at sex, or what?
I think because she knows I'm more like a hippie.
Yeah.
But she wants me to put on like this act, like I'm like.
Oh, so she wanted
like
you
this
to,
proper Italian gentleman.
Sure,
you know?
Sure. Yeah, she wanted you to wear a suit and make her an offer she couldn't refuse.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
So we got about 10 minutes left, Adam. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
There is actually. Well, it's hard to say, but I met this beautiful African American girl recently.
Yes.
And I was with you.
You were with me.
Yeah, when I met her.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, this is one of my best friends, Matt. He was, we came in here because he saw you, and we'd love to buy you some drinks. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You do, yeah. And, about 10 minutes into the conversation, I bailed on you to go get a chicken quesadilla, and I just want to say I'm sorry for that.
That's all good. No, it was all right.
So
do you want to know what happened that night?
I do.
You do. Oh, so that's what you want to know about.
Yeah.
We were out as I was in one of my funk. I get in a funk every now and then.
Yeah.
Mainly lately for losing my job as a teacher, but that's neither here nor there. I saw this attractive woman in a bar, and I said, Adam, we got to go to this bar so I could talk to this girl. And I ended up hanging out. You ended up leaving, and I ended up hanging out with her. We took an Uber to West Palm.
Okay.
And we hung out at another bar till like 4 a.m, and she paid for the Uber back.
Oh my God.
We were making out, just putting my hands in places that I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But she was cool with it. We ended up going out on a date the next night.
Nice.
We were gonna go to the pinball museum in Delray, but ended up not. And
you gonna call her again?
No, because here's what happened. I ended up telling her that I wasn't going to be a teacher anymore.
Because she was a teacher, right?
Because that's how we kind of connected. We were both teachers, and I told her I didn't want to be a teacher anymore. And I'm looking for a new job. I'm going to move on to something new.
Yeah.
And then she immediately said, I gotta go to the bathroom. And then she goes to the bathroom. She comes back like 10 minutes later. She's like, I don't feel good. I think I'm gonna go home now.
What?
And then she leaves. We both leave. And then I text her. I was like, because I wanted to make sure she was all right because she said she was sick. And she goes, I don't think you were completely honest with me about being a teacher.
Oh, she thought you lied.
And she goes, I don't really want to go out with you again. And then it's like, well, I wasn't lying about being a teacher. I am a teacher. You want me to show you my paycheck?
Here's my school ID.
Well, I actually threw out my school ID the day they fired me.
Fucking bastards.
But yeah, that's the story of that woman.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll say this. When I did leave, I felt comfortable to leave because you guys seemed to be hitting it off well.
We were hitting it off. We had a great time that night.
But who knew that her whole fetish was teacher?
Yeah, she completely did a 180 on me as soon as I told her I didn't want to be a teacher anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Wow. She probably sucks at teaching.
She was a 5th grade teacher.
Yeah, she's probably...
And like Norm Macdonald says, you only need a 6th grade education to be a 5th grade teacher.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Norm Macdonald knows things. But yeah, man, what can I say?
Yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, come out to Elizabeth Ave Station on June 22nd. It's Friday, $10 all you can drink. It's going to be a great comedy show. We're going to have 12 to 14 comedians and kegs of beer, wine, and it's a great spot. And Matt's performed there a number of times, and we'll be back. And yeah, I just love doing comedy, and I really appreciate you having me on your podcast, man.
Hey, thank you guys for listening to 1,000 Comics podcast. This has been Adam Kaye and your host, Matt Heath, signing off.